Hello, this is Kate. Thank you for joining my channel again. As you can see, I am in Willow Creek at Umbridge Manor, but I was kind of inspired by the house that was existing here. I realize now that I sped through that really fast with the demolition of that one. But I was kind of inspired by the house that was already here, and of course by a house that I found on Pinterest that was just this really beautiful, over-the-top, traditional, detailed chateau. So this is one of the fastest builds I've ever done, and it's not very detailed as a result. This was me on a stressful week. I've had a few stressful weeks in a row, and just wanted to blow off some steam in The Sims. What better way? So I very quickly got into the game one night, and I was just like, I'm just going to build something, and that's going to be it. Like, I'm just going to build something. Like, I'm not going to come back to it tomorrow. I'm just going to build to my heart's content. I just want to get something done. I want to see something come to fruition, which it can in The Sims more quickly than in real life. So I built this. It took 2.5 hours. And like I said, there's not as much detail and clutter on the inside. It kind of looks like it could be a good wedding venue or wedding hotel. Like, you get married here and then you have your honeymoon here. But it also just kind of looks like it could be a old, home that is now a museum. But it's very white. I really was just going for simplicity for my own sake here. And I was inspired by, like I said, the building that was already here already had some rounded balconies, and this one doesn't have anything rounded. I didn't want to do rounded. After the medieval castle kit, I don't think I've posted a castle build, but I got the medieval castle kit as soon as it came out, and I've built like so many different castles and then not finished them because I either get frustrated with the round walls that I'm trying to use, or I get frustrated with how large it is, and I feel like I can't properly or very nicely furnish it or landscape it or whatever. It just got too big, and I've really been unsuccessful in making a small castle. I'm like, oh yeah, well, what if I just did something cute and small, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And anyways, I think the castle architecture was overwhelming me. So with this one, I stayed away from rounded walls because I kept trying to do round walls with castles. But yeah, this is the most simple that I've ever done, and I actually feel like I can take some notes from this for other builds moving forward. For example, the landscaping. It's just that, I think it's called Nawupaka or something from the Island Living expansion pack. It's the low-lying, kind of like a creeper bush. So it covers quite a few tiles on the ground. And I only used that with a debug. I think I used a debug bush as well, like row of bushes, and then a few trees. That was the only landscaping that I did, and that was good for me because I didn't have to fuss with it. I didn't feel stressed out, and honestly, it looks clean and neat. It doesn't look as bad as I expected, so I'm quite happy with that. I did really fuss around with the back a good bit. This is probably where I spent most of my time, was trying to figure out this backyard, and I'm pretty happy with it. This is not a huge lot. I don't remember if it's a 30 by 40 or a 20 by, it must be a 30 by 40. It looks bigger than 20 by 30. But I wanted it to have like all of the nice things that you would expect a nice home like this to have, or, certainly a honeymoon venue to have. So I spent quite a bit of time on laying it out, kind of making it look very well planned, very built, and not just like, oh, they decided to do some gardening over here in the corner. It's much more orderly than that. So there's an outdoor entertaining space, outdoor cooking space. There's a hot tub. There's loungers. There's the swimming pool, of course. And I think that this house could be a family home. It does have 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms upstairs, as well as a full kitchen. It's just very formal. So I don't know if maybe this might be one of those houses that you move in, like some Sims that you want to exist in your world, but you don't actually play with them. I think we all do that, where you have to populate your community the way that you want it populated. Like, I need this doctor to live here, and I need this veterinarian to live here, and I need this, you know, a barista to live out in this apartment or this house or whatever. Just because you want a community of people for your actual sim that you play with to interact with. So that's what I would do with this, but you may be able to personalize this enough. Like I said, I categorize it or see it more as like a museum or like a fancy place that I'm not probably going to play with very much unless I'm doing like a wedding. And so I tried to do an entire floor plan. You've already seen, I've tried to do an entire floor plan without placing stairs. And then when I went to place stairs, I realized, oh yeah, you can't place stairs on a diagonal. So I had to really redo the floor plan, but it worked out quite nicely. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy with the way the hallway upstairs looks. There's a nice grand, you know, very fancy living room, very fancy dining room, and a fancy entry room, as well as a half bath and kitchen downstairs. And then of course there's the outdoor space. And then the hallway upstairs, that's one of the biggest struggles I think in The Sims, or maybe just in architecture, because when I'm working on regular projects, this can be a problem too. But one of the harder things to do, which is kind of a fun puzzle, that's what makes it fun, is placing the stairs so that you have a nice upstairs landing. Like, it seems like I always try to place it where it's going to make sense on the first floor first, and then try to make it work on the second level. And that's exactly what I did here. But I did have to think about this one a little bit extra because I have the diagonal in the building and cannot do diagonal stairs. So I did have to think about it a little more carefully, and I think it made for quite a nice upstairs hallway landing space. All three of the bedrooms upstairs have their own private ensuite, and they're quite large rooms, almost as if all three of them are primary. Obviously, the definition of the word primary would not make them all primary, but they all look like the main living room, or bedroom, excuse me, for the household. So maybe the owner of the home lives there, but they all three are very nice and spacious and have their own bathroom. So something that, as I'm rewatching this, I kind of wonder if you could use the for rent pack and turn each of these three larger bedroom, bathroom ensembles into an apartment. And maybe you could have like a family in one and make a studio apartment out of another. That might be fun. And this place would have a lot of amenities and just a lot of space, especially with the downstairs. So that actually might make this game playable. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. Here I go with the video walkthrough, and I really hope that you enjoy this. I definitely did. I needed to get this out of my system, if you know what I mean. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.